Hey, my name is Carson Roach, and I'm the director of the show Short-Sighted. Our show was about this guy Milo, who was very stiff and uptight, and this girl Jenny comes in and shows him that it's okay to relax a little bit and to be yourself. And so they go on this adventure to this community center, and Jenny shows Milo that it's okay to express yourself. And so the show opens with Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. And that was probably my favorite number because it was really fun and light and upbeat, and everyone seemed to really enjoy it. I specifically wanted to thank my cast members for pouring so much into this show and being so talented, and they would put on an amazing show. Then I wanted to thank my choreographers for choreographing a great show. All of the numbers were so fun and really fun to watch and to be a part of even. And then I wanted to thank my music directors for taking some really hard music and learning it and teaching it, and they did a really great job. Then I wanted to thank Parker Wallace and Allie Whiting for being the best assistant directors I could have asked for, and I just definitely could not have done this without them. And then I just wanted to thank everybody that was involved. Everybody did a great job, and everybody poured so much into this show, and I've been so blessed to be able to be a part of this with everybody, with Theta Psi, Kappa Chi, Delta Omega, and friends. It was a good time, and it was a good show, and I'm really happy with what we had. And even though we didn't get to perform, we all had a great time and made a lot of friends and had a lot of great experiences.
Attention officers, a hurricane is approaching, so we must be prepared.
Hi, my name is Avery Rowland, and I'm the director of The Eye of the Hurricane. We were super excited about this year's show. We had a great plot planned out, and we had amazing choreographers, and we had an amazing music team. And we were super excited to be able to show off all the hard work that we had prepared. Our show centered around vision, which was the overall theme, and we had 2 plot points for vision that kind of coincided with one another and were the main plot drivers for our show. So we had the Officer Elizabeth Beck, and her vision was to become a detective like her father. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we had the aunt of Ruth Claremont, and she ended up killing her brother over the vision of their company, over their family company. And because of these 2 visions of these 2 ladies, we had this plot form out where we had this murder mystery from Ruth, and then we had our detective solving this murder mystery. And that was a lot of fun. And this all happened during a hurricane. We were going to start off with Thunderstruck, which is a great AC/DC song. It was going to be loud. Everyone was going to be dressed in officer uniforms. It was going to be great. And then we'd have our girls dance, which was Fighter by Christina Aguilera. This dance was amazing, choreographed by the Haley Eubanks and Kat Goff. Amazing choreographers. If you've never seen one of their dances, you absolutely should. They were going to be dressed in like boxer outfits. It was going to be epic. Then we would transition to Guys Dance, where we'd have these officers and firefighters, and they break out into Umbrella by Rihanna. Our show taught us a lot about vision and how that can be a really good thing, and it can drive you to do a lot of great things. It had a lot of meanings, a lot of depth, a lot of layering that people who would see it multiple times would get more from, but like also if you saw it one time, you still see a great show. And this show couldn't have been possible without my assistant director, Carson Metter. It couldn't have happened without Caroline Leverett, our music director. She was just amazing, and she has a great voice. My writing team had a lot of great people on it, and our music team, I personally can't teach music, but they did a great job to all the cast, honestly, because you can't have a show without a cast, and our cast was amazing. Not just the leads, but every dancer in Pi Delta and Sid and Gamma Lambda, and then all of our friends. They were amazing. And of course, thank you to Lewis, and thank you to Haley. Y'all were amazing. Thank you as leaders, and thank you to the other 2 directors. The journey to where it ended was a lot of fun, and I couldn't have asked for another 2 co-directors because they were just amazing. So thank you. This is Avery Rowland signing out as director.
Hey guys, it's Mackenzie Nutter, the director of A Fresh Pair of Eyes. This year our show consisted of Phi Sigma, Tau Phi, Phi Nu, Sigma Alpha, and Friends. Our show opens with Candace, who is the new receptionist in the mayor's office of the town of Seymour Shores. Our opening number is to a classic, Take On Me by a-ha. We meet Val, who's the mayor's secretary, and she kind of introduces Candace to the town gossip surrounding the arrest of the previous receptionist. No one really knows what happens there, but we find out later. We then meet the deputy, who is Val's boyfriend at the time, and he kind of upsets her during an argument, but he apologizes during What a Man Gotta Do by the Jonas Brothers. This song is brand new, it's 2 months old, and the cast loved this dance. It's so fun. After reading some sketchy information about the fundraiser for ABY, Candace finds the sheriff and deputy at her desk the next morning, when she is also then arrested, just like the old receptionist was. The deputy and the mayor revealed to the audience that ABY was just a scam to steal money for the town for their own needs, and during that they performed Bruno Mars' 24 Karat Magic. In jail, Candace meets Donna, the old receptionist who we've heard so much about, along with some other prisoners who were only arrested for protesting the pollution of the town lake. Despite their innocence, Candace and Donna are unable to break out of jail until Val comes to their rescue after discovering evidence of the mayor and deputy's evil plot. The jailbreak was our girls' dance, a fierce performance to the mashup of Focus by Ariana Grande and Work by Rihanna. Once free, the gang heads to the fundraiser where everyone is cutting loose after a long work week to the song Footloose by Kenny Loggins, which doubled as boys' dance and couples' dance. After the song, Candace, Val, and Donna rush the stage, cutting off the mayor from his self-righteous speech and expose his plot to the whole town. Our final scene flashes forward to a few months later where Candace is the new mayor of Seymour Shores. She has the support of the whole town because she used the money from the fundraiser to put it towards the cleanup of the town lake, which was renamed Lake Abbey. ABY. Abbey? Yeah. Our show ended with the sentiment that the town is only as good as the people in it, which contrasted the old mayor's philosophy that the clothes make the man. That's a reference to our closer song, Freedom 90, which is originally by George Michael, but we mashed it with Cups from the Pitch Perfect saga. This show was set up to be so incredible, and I'm so proud and so grateful for my cast and all the hard work that they put into it. My production team was filled with some super talented people, including my writers, my music team, my choreographers, who had created some of the most fun dances I've ever seen for Singorama. My assistant director, Megan Reddick, was a huge support through this whole process, along with my production assistant, Emerson Loudenbach, and my music director, Theo Reed. The three of them were at every rehearsal by my side, making sure that everything that needed to get done got accomplished. Singorama has meant so much to me throughout my time at Lipscomb, and to have had this opportunity to be a director was awesome. I'm so sad that it had to end sooner than expected, but hands down, it was one of my favorite Singorama experiences. So, thanks guys.
Ahoy, me mateys! Welcome to Learning Lighthouse, and I'm your captain, Lighthouse Lefty. Today, we are starting an all-time classic, The Count of Monte Cristo, by none other than Alexander Dumas. Now, today will be part one of many. Let's dive right in. If you have your copy at home, turn right to it. Page 1. The Count of Monte Cristo, Marseille. The arrival. On the 28th of February, 1815, the watchtower of Notre Dame de la Garde signaled the Three Master. The Farson from Smyrna, Trieste, and Naples. As usual, a pilot put off immediately and, rounding the Chateau d'If, got on board the vessel between Cape Morgion and the Isle of Réunion. Well, that's all the time we have today. Join us next time on Learning Lighthouse in this mini-part series, in which we will read The Count of Monte Cristo.
Hey guys, welcome back to Impact Prime Time. Fist bump. Can we do that?
Elbow bumps,
Fist
all the
bump,
different
there we go.
things, foot bump.
Hey, we're excited to have another night with you guys. We're gonna check in with some of you guys with some videos and whatnot.
Watch parties?
Let me see what you got.
What's up, guys? This is Dorian from Regency in Mobile, Alabama. We are excited for our first year of Impact.
Equals bad on a bicycle. He's a bad.
The NBYG West coming from West Murfreesboro. Here they are.
Hey Impact, we're the Gateway Girls.
And you're watching Channel 31.
This is the College Side group from Cookeville, Tennessee. Everybody say, hey Impact!
Hey, Impact!
Hey, so you might notice we've got a new one with us here. Aubrey, tell us.
I don't know why I just did like clear fingers, jazz hands.
That's how excited you are to be
Yes,
here.
it was worth it.
Hey man, how long you been with Impact? Where you're at
Let's see.
now?
My first Impact was 04, which I know for you adults you're like, man, that's young, and you kids are like, dang, boomer. But became as Skidmore's intern when I was his first married intern, 2004. Me and Robin joined up, and had never heard of Impact, had never seen it. I grew up 30 miles from it, had never even heard the word Impact, other than just as a vocabulary term.
Sure.
For something that means a lot.
Wait, you were married as
Yes,
an intern?
Correct. Robin and I got married, wanted to get into youth ministry, got laughed at in an interview, so we decided, hey, the best thing might be to intern for the greatest. So I went to Skidmore, and he helped us out.
That's amazing. I had
That's
no
awesome.
idea.
What do you do? So tell us real quick what you do with Impact, behind the scenes, in front of the
so-
scenes, because people know who you are. but-
Yes, I would say that the role that I have come to love the most is sitting right behind the camera or trying to edit and watch my friends make fools of themselves. Because I love to be goofy, to be dumb, and laugh at stuff. But to watch them be goofy and dumb and me get to laugh at them or trying to mess them up, I think that's my real gift, is messing other people up from a great take. And then the joy I get from watching that train wreck, and then they have to keep filming and doing stuff, and then I just go back to it. But I'd say my official role, I don't know that has a job title. The official role is Director of Morning Impact. So I kind of just work off to the side in production and try to just move a lot of parts. But I get to watch the real talent in front of the camera. That's fun.
That's awesome.
I wasn't talking about you, don't worry.
Yes, you are.
Tonight we've got a lot of fun stuff
we hope to share with you. We've got some interviews that we can't wait to bring your way. But we thought we'd share a little bit of insider info. You may not know this, but we're filming a lot of Impact this year just down the road from Lipscomb University at Otter Creek Church of Christ. We're filming some of our stuff at campus, what we can. But a lot we're filming here, we're actually in the Otter Creek building, which has been a lot of fun. But we thought it would be fun to share some of our favorite videos that were actually filmed here at this building. This is not the first time we've used Otter Creek to film videos before. So tell us a little bit, what videos are we going to show?
All right, so this first one we want to give you all is many years ago, a very popular song was What Does the Fox Say? And we decided, through collaboration, that we thought it'd be fun to do What Does the Fax Say?
Which many years ago, a fax was a thing.
Right, yeah.
Which
that
one
was,
of you jokers cut my tie in half? Was that you?
It was.
That was one of my favorite ties.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was a fun video.
One of my favorite ties to cut.
Yeah. It was probably 2 or 3 a.m. It was in the Otter Creek office area. We got Jordan House, our worship leader, actually is singing the audio of the song, changed the lyrics to match everything, wanted that office setting. It ended up being pretty fun, except one of the things you're going to notice at the end is we could not find a real fax machine. There was no real fax machine at the time, so we had to improvise.
They existed, we just didn't have them.
Right, yeah, they were like a myth, but there just wasn't one we could find, so we had to. But it was a fun video, so let's check it out.
Let's roll it.
All right, enjoy.
Lights turn on, chairs roll off, memos deep, and the phone goes ring. Coffee to drink, emails to read, and the computer computes. Tape it sticks, staple, and the scissors cut. But there's one thing no one knows. What does the fax say?
Man, that was a super fun video. Really fun to film. The next video we're going to show you is from The Office. It's a pretty fun video to film as well. And, well, we'll just let you see it. Just check this out.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Lowrider Lynn.
Sure,
Lowrider, knock knock.
I'm on the phone.
I know you are, knock knock.
You can fax it over. 570-555.
491 74
75 0175. Yes, thank you. Bye-bye. That really makes us look unprofessional.
They would never know it was me doing it. Here we go. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Buddha.
Buddha who?
Buddha this bread for me. I need something to wipe my hand with.
There's butter on my desk.
It was a classic. I got a knock knock joke.
No.
Rubio, please let me. All right. Knock knock.
Who's there?
KGB.
KGB.
Vive last the question!
What the junk was that?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Stop it! Stop that! Hey, come on! Mine was part of a hilarious joke!
Mine was retribution. What are you doing? No more knock knock jokes. That's it.
Ding dong.
Who's there?
KGB.
Skid, get the door.
I'm not answering the door. Ding dong.
Skid.
No way, it's the KGB.
You're getting
Ding dong. I'm not going to answer that.
Answer.
You answer it.
You will.
I'm not going to answer it. It's the KGB. The KGB will wait for no one. It's true.
All right, one of my biggest takeaways from that video, it was super fun to watch that unfold and to see just how funny it was. It took a long time. Most of our videos do take a long time, longer than they should have to take. But this particular night, David Rubio was in his element. And you see the things that he makes, and you laugh with him, you laugh at him, you love him. But one thing that it became extra clear to me that night was that David Rubio is such a perfectionist that shoot, I think it took like 4 years. Like 4 years of my life that night went away. It was all within the confines of one night, but it was just so painstaking and accurate. But the takeaway product is amazing. It's beautiful. Yeah. I love this. I mean, it was just gorgeously laid out.
Hey, speaking of Rubio, last night we offered a youth group challenge. We wanted you to submit videos shouting out, were you on Skidmore's side or Rubio's side? And we got some great submissions.
Skidmore! Rubio! 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 Team Rubio! Rubio! Skidmore!
It's time for another youth group challenge. Tonight, as a youth group, you need to take a vote before everybody leaves if you're watching together. You could also submit this if you're at home with your family or by yourself. You can still send a video. Here's the phone number and the email to send that to. We want to know your favorite Impact character. So if you're a youth group, you need to take a vote and collectively shout out the name of your favorite Impact character.
Main stage character? We're talking side character?
Morning Impact, small side character. It could be from a skit. Whoever you decide as a group, you want to shout their name out together. Like, who's your favorite Impact character?
Mine is a tie between Frankenstein and Chewbacca.
Chewbacca
was a lot of fun.
Which is ironic considering I don't really care about Star Wars, but I think it was just a great character.
There was something about the concept of Davy Jones a few years ago when we tried to pull that out.
And watching Jonathan Tucker dress up as him
was
in 900
really
degree
fun, but it just didn't catch on. It was one of my favorites.
I think Intern Kim
might be I changed my answer. Intern Kim
might be one of my all-time favorites, but I lean a little towards Mr. Mysterious.
I actually love Mr. Mysterious and Andres. So you guys, hey, remember, you have to vote as a group, though.
Yes,
this could take some time.
Keep it civil
as
well. Keep it civil.
We're not there to regulate.
Send us the videos.
We're not even there.
Send us the videos, and you may be on camera tomorrow night.
I hope they get some really good discussion out of this, actually.
Truth.
Speaking of favorite characters, we thought we would every night try to find a way to offer you some morale boost to see a face you might have missed this year. And so we got a special submission from someone who just wanted, to surprise you and show you a little bit about what he's been doing over the course of this quarantine season. So here you go.
Party people! Party people! Goes a little something like this. Tag team back again. Check it, direct it, let's begin. Party on, party people, let me hear some noise. DC's in the house, jump, jump, rejoices. There's a party over here, a party over there. Wave your hands in the air, shake the dairy, yeah. These three words mean you're getting busy. Whoop, there it is, Hitman. Whoop, there it is. 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 Whoop, there it is.
That was well said.
Yeah, inspiring.
Honestly, I've got him in my cell phone as Orange Guy.
Me too.
I'm not gonna. I know his name.
I do too, but I
don't care. He's Orange Guy. He's Orange Guy.
So one of the major things that happens at Impact every single year, what so many people look forward to, and is the skit.
The drama.
Yeah. Oh man, and it is every year. I am more and more impressed at the level of talent on the stage. I mean, the last several years, it's been a full-on musical with, not lip dubbing, actual singing and everything. It's been great, and it's been really neat seeing all of the talent come from, you have your guys that are working on it that are youth ministers, that of course Todd, Skid, and Rubio. But then when you start seeing campers show up, when you start seeing campers on the stage, that they're participating in everything, I think it really connects it in a neat way. So we thought that we would spend a little bit of time with a couple of the people who have been in the drama for the last couple of years, sharing about why this is such an important moment for them participating in it, but also why they keep doing this for Impact. What is it about Impact that draws people to it, to want them to come to know Jesus more and everything? And the drama really pushes the theme. So we spent some time with a few people. We talked with Mackenzie Lewis earlier. You want to give us a little insight about that?
Yeah, I sat down with Mackenzie, who is, well, she'll explain her story, a lifelong connection with Impact. So let's roll that footage. Hey, this is my friend Mackenzie, and she is going to share a little bit about her heart and her connection to Impact for you guys. So start first telling us how you became a part of Team Impact and a part of all of this stuff, which is kind of a fun, amazing story.
Yeah, so my dad, Mike Lewis, was one of the original Impact board members. And so in 1996, my mom had to be induced early with me so that my dad could get to Impact. So my very first Impact was back in 1996. I took my first steps in 1997 at Impact. And then a couple years later, several years later, in 2010, I was baptized at Impact and started working on the skit in 2015. So once I got into college, Todd called me and asked me to be a part of the team, and it's because I grew up doing community theater, and all of a sudden it's just become a huge part of my life. So.
That's awesome. You may not recognize Mackenzie because you're probably used to seeing her wearing a wig,
crazy wigs,
or doing silly dances or things like that on stage, but you've definitely seen her face if you have been to Impact before. Now, what's your full-time job?
I am one of the student ministers at Hendersonville Church of Christ.
So, born at Impact, essentially.
Essentially.
And became a youth minister and now serves students all over the place. Talk a little bit about maybe your giftedness. It may be weird to brag on yourself a little bit, but those of us who know you think you're very gifted and very good at what you do, both on stage and the way you serve students. But I love thinking about the skills that you have and how you have used them as gifts to serve others. And so maybe help us understand it a little bit. Help maybe students out there are thinking about, I've got skills or I've got gifts, or what's the difference in a skill and a gift? How do I use my skills to serve the world? And speak a little bit about how you discovered your gifts and how you love using them for opportunities like this.
Okay. Well, like I said earlier, I started doing community theater when I was 4 with my family, and grew up knowing that I could sing and that I could learn choreography, not necessarily dance well, but choreography, and then started to get more acting roles and harder acting roles, especially in my teenage years, and realized that I love telling stories. And I realized too that I could remember stories more than I could remember math equations or scientific facts, but I could tell you the entire plot of Pride and Prejudice or Les Mis. I could sing the entire thing. And so I knew that I had those skills, and working on this Impact skit every year now has showed me that, my skills kind of promote myself, but using them as a gift, I can help tell a story that might bring people closer to God, help people change their perspective on someone else maybe that they have an issue with, being able to see a different perspective on something, or to learn something about themselves. To me, that's a big thing, is what can I do to bring people closer to God, someone in their life, or to help them better understand something about themselves. So I think that's the difference, is a skill is a way to bring focus to yourself, and a gift is a way to bring focus to God and others.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Why teenagers? I mean, you could be doing other stuff. Why are you serving teens and sharing the gospel and sharing the story of Jesus with teenagers?
Well, I believe that teenagers and students are the ones that can really make a difference out of everybody, because you guys are sponges, and everything you just take in and you run with it without any inhibitions at all. And I think that a lot of times our society undervalues you, and I think it's wrong.
because you guys are the ones who are going to change things now and in the future. And I love that students have the most passion, I think. And so that's why it's students for me, is that you guys can take things, you can learn from them, and then you do something about it. You learn and then you do. And that's the biggest thing for me. So
thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. And I hope at some point you get to meet Mackenzie, and
Please.
you'll see her face, and maybe next time you see her on screen, you'll think, I know that person, and I know that person loves me, because she thinks about teenagers, and she thinks about God, and she's constantly trying to figure out how to bring those two together. So that's an awesome thing. So now you know Mackenzie, and we hope that you can take some things you shared or learned from her and apply that over the course of the next summer and the coming year. So thanks, Mackenzie. We love you.
Love you too.
I remember Abandoned, the year that she played the lead. It was one of the very first years. And I remember, if y'all remember, there was a storm that night that kept us inside for a little bit longer. Jordan continued the worship, and so they did that final night. And the scene between Mackenzie and Skid, I don't think there was a dry eye in the room.
Not.
Incredible stuff. And for me personally, that was the moment where, I mean, again, the drama has always been so amazing, but that was this moment that our youth group went in our Devos that night, and just it really, really, really struck a beautiful nerve. I think it was an amazing thing. That's what it does.
Well, and that's where we are with the Impact skit, is that the ending just drives home the spiritual point from the theme, and it hits you.
Yep.
The music, the acting, and the fact that the skit is, interwoven in scripture is just amazing. And I interviewed Chamberlain as well, who Chamberlain's been helping with the skit for a couple of years. Fantastic young man, great actor, hilarious. So y'all check out this interview as well. We're here with my buddy Chamberlain.
We're not friends.
Chamberlain. I feel like you have to say that name. No. Chamberlain.
No, just say Chamberlain. Just like you would normally say a name.
I can't
L-I-N, by the way. It's Chamberlain.
So what's your last name?
Little.
Chamberlain Little.
Okay, stop. This is ridiculous.
Okay, so tell us how long you've been coming to Impact.
I've been coming to Impact ever since 2013, ever since I could come as a 6th grader.
Okay, so you have 2013. What did you think? Your first experience of Impact. Thoughts?
I actually really, really, really enjoyed Impact. It was just a connection that I got through the skits and everything like that. Funny story, I actually fell asleep during Jeff Walling's sermon. But when I woke up, I was just like, this is an amazing camp. And it was one of those moments where I was just like, I don't want to leave.
That's awesome. Now, recently you've been involved with the skit.
Yes, I have.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
I'm an actor. I love acting, and I love being on stage, and I love creating a character, and just having the liberty to do that and all that stuff. It's just a hoot.
A hoot.
I've never said that word before.
Well, you have now.
But
it's out there.
You
call yourself an actor, Chamberlain, if that is your real name.
This is going to get old.
If I just gave you a character, could you act in it really quickly? Improv?
Well, it depends on the character, but sure, yeah.
Okay, let's say a Scottish pie baker.
A Scottish pie baker, okay. I'm not very good at accents, but... Oi! Here's your pie!
Impact changes a lot of people's lives.
Correct.
It does a great... it has a great impact on the kingdom of God. So tell us, why do you keep coming back to Impact?
Yeah, absolutely. So even though there's so much fun at Impact, even though hanging out and being with some of the greatest men and women that I have ever worked with and things in my life, I honestly feel like I have the strongest connection with God and things like that. It's really, really impactful for me, pun intended, for me to just be around all these people who also have the same love of God as I do. And it really just allows me to be myself. I love God. I love talking about God. I love being just around people, and just it's so much fun, and Impact is a really big way of doing that. Also, Impact Junior is around Father's Day, and one of the biggest holes in my heart is when my dad passed away. And it's just been such a great experience being a part of the skit and being a part of men and women that really do fill that hole that's left in my heart. I look up to you and Skidmore and TL and Rubio and just so many of the other guys out there, and it's just a really wonderful experience. And I may not show that a lot when I'm on stage or backstage or any of that kind of stuff, but like it really does mean a lot to me to be here around everybody. It makes me feel like I'm really connecting with God and with other people.
That's amazing, man. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being so transparent. And
Yes, absolutely.
thank you for being a part of Impact, because when you were a sixth grader, when you were a student sitting in those chairs, they're looking to you in the same way that you were looking to the people that were a part of Impact. So you are a big part of Impact, a big part of what Impact is about for the kingdom. So we know what Impact means to you personally and spiritually, but what has Impact done to prepare you, Chamberlain, for maybe the future or maybe away from Impact?
Absolutely. So being an actor, you're always around like people who aren't going to always agree with you on different things, who are going to live a different lifestyle. And what Impact has really, really taught me, one from all the lessons and then one from all the people, is that there's nothing to be ashamed about with the love of God. There's so much that God has done for us. And that's what God really wants us to do. He wants us to be a light. He wants us to spread the gospel and really spread the word. So hearing all this stuff at Impact has really prepared me to be at college. And when people see me not doing the same things that all the actors are doing, not going to these parties, not saying these words, it's really, really important for me to just say, the reason I do this is because of the cross. And I point it right back at Jesus. My goal in life is to be a mirror, not only on stage, but in real life. I want to reflect God to people, and then I want to reflect people back up at God.
That's awesome. Great answer.
My answers are pretty amazing.
That was it.
And Chamberlain is awesome. I love him so much. It was really fun to interview.
It was fun to watch.
You know, the more I watch Mackenzie and Chamberlain and all of our other young actors and actresses, especially those that are campers or those that have recently been campers, now moving on to college, to see them using their gifts is awesome to watch. But more importantly, to see them using their gifts as a way, not just as an art form, but as a way to honor God with their talents and their a lot of them spiritual gifts. And I sit back and think, I'm not an actor. Like, Todd has tried to put me in the skit several times. I weaseled out of it this year and told Grayson, look, you got to be left in power. I have too much going on. I don't need to do it. And part of that is because my confidence is not built in that specific gift set, but each of us has a different combination of gifts. So I guess my challenge and my biggest takeaway is just thinking through how can we each use our gifts as a way to honor God, regardless of what they look like, because we don't have the same giftings.
Well, I think we can all agree the skit, the drama has been such an essential part of what makes Impact. And I will never forget one of the great lines that was written. It was camp when they were doing everything, and if you remember, the guy was standing there with the quarter, and the line was, do we spend our whole lives preparing ourselves for camp instead of letting camp prepare us for our whole lives? And that's what I've always loved about Impact as well. Impact is this beautiful moment that you come and you enjoy the entertainment and the encouragement and the fellowship, and the worship is just dynamic. The skit blows you away, the speakers and the teachers, the late nights with your youth group. But all of that is about affirming you and then purposing you for the remaining 51 weeks. And that's why Impact has existed as long as it has, in the form that it has, and the thousands upon thousands of people that have grown to know Jesus because of it. It's really an amazing thing when you think about it in that big picture. So I think that about does it for tonight, guys. I think we can kick it to the next thing, and excited to see everybody tomorrow.
All right. Have a good night.
truly disturbing news tonight.
Not in the world.
But from right here in our own studio.
Disgraced child star Annette Iber has been spotted sneaking around Central City Studios, a place she had been barred from just months ago.
You may recall, if you're recalling, that she was let go from the popular TV show Molly and the Enchanted Clubhouse after being caught stealing from her best friend's locker.
That kind of betrayal and dishonesty might not make national news, but among the tight-knit community here at Your Right Choice, Channel 31.
Well, that is big news.
Georgia Morgan, the victim, is still a popular member of the cast.
No one at the station has decided to comment.
Except popular star Pepper Flavin, who plays the incredible wizard Alakazam.
She says that perhaps it is just the fact that Annette Iber had no parents growing up, that maybe she had no real role models.
Pepper Flavin tried to model fiction with real life by being a mentor to Annette, but the girl was apparently a loose cannon and kind of a person anyone would not want in their home.
In fact, breaking news right here. The report is that Annette Iber liked Belmont setting things on fire. Plus, she prefers Dixie over Charlie D'Amelio.
Yeah, I remember. But it's like my pappy always used to say. Even a blind duck can find a squirrel every now and then.
Yeah. Well, I think I remember that happening a few months ago on the news.
I believe I remember it as well. You see, I heard that this Annette girl had been stealing things like a MacBook and other valuables out of out of Georgia's locker.
Teenagers. Like a February chicken trough. Always missing.
Aye.
Yes, I'm here. I've taken care of everything. No. It won't be a problem anymore. That's behind us now. No, she's gone. That girl will never set foot in this station again. Yes. All right.
I am so tired of everyone telling me that they're falling for her ridiculous story. I mean, you don't even think about this. She's manipulative. She is a liar. She will say anything to get anyone to believe her. I mean, has someone ever stolen your computer out of your locker? I had Visco stickers on mine. They cost me $8 on Amazon. Not cool. I can't even believe it. I'm so aggravated. Are you even listening to me?
Yeah.
Hey. Were you by chance talking about a former friend of ours?
Emphasis on former.
Well, I mean, look, I don't know who Annette thinks she is. Personally, I don't think I know who Annette is right now. But we shouldn't just dismiss our friends like that. And when we dismiss friends, that says more about us than it does about them.
Huh? Have you talked to Annette?
Yeah, I have.
And do you believe her?
I mean, look, I don't know the girl like that, but Barron seems to think that she is up to something. And that man has never lied to me. And so I think as good friends, no matter how crazy talk they be being sometimes, we should listen to them and hear the whole story. Because right now we're just getting half the story. We need to hear the whole story.
I believe her too.
What?
I do. Look, I've been janitor here for a while now, and I see everything that goes on. I kind of understand. It's like I have two different sets of memories going on. On one hand, I remember being fired, but on the other, it's like I never quit playing Alakazam at all. Maybe it's my age, but I'm very confused.
Hey, I think you own something.
It's very possible. Something funny is going on here.
Now, listen, here's what I want to know. Have any of us known her to be a liar?
Nope.
Oh my gosh. You're both losing your minds. And you're old, so you don't know anything. Goodbye.
Okay. Hey, Brooks? Brooks! Oh, there you are. Hey, Brooks. Yeah. Been going over the budget for 2020, and I'm just realizing here that our janitor has stocked the entire bathroom closet with toilet paper. There's like 14 rolls in there. Who is possibly going to use 14 rolls of toilet paper? So I would suggest, to save some money in 2020, we cut the toilet paper budget. What do you think?
Dude, that's a great idea. I cut my toilet paper budget like months ago.
Okay. All right. You know, Brooks, I've been thinking. You and I have worked really hard. We should reward ourselves with a little trip coming up next year. Once we go on hiatus, I think that you and I, since we don't have a lot of friends or family around except each other, that maybe we should just take a trip, you and I. Where would you like to go?
Walt Disney World, dude.
Oh, good idea. I love that place. Spring break 2020,
Yeah.
we're going to Disney.
Yeah.
Oh, and on the way there, how about we hit every national park we can?
Oh, sweet. Maybe a couple baseball games.
Oh, we could even watch the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup Finals.
Bonnaroo, dude.
I like it. Let's swing up to New York City, stay there for a whole week, catch a few plays.
This sounds great.
Oh, wait, this trip's gonna be really expensive. To save a little money, I suggest that you and I cancel our subscriptions to Netflix. That'll bring the cost down. All right, good idea. Hey, speaking of, have you seen anything strange going on around here?
Well, dude, what is up with Mr. Hurt and that Annette girl? I mean, he's like so intense on, I gotta find her. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't exactly know what the deal is with her. Like, people keep saying she's a thief. But I don't really remember her being a thief. I remember actually kind of liking her. But everything's getting so confused. All I know is that the boss does not seem to like her.
Speaking of which, where did that dude come from? I mean, in my mind, it's just like he appeared one day.
Yeah, I don't remember how the boss became the boss. All I know is I'm not the boss anymore. It's kind of like on Roseanne when that one girl was playing Becky, and then the next week that other girl was playing Becky. So confusing.
Or like on Fresh Prince where they replaced Mrs. Banks.
It made absolutely no sense, man. Anyway, all I know is keep an eye out for that girl because she's trouble.
No, what is going on? I made a choice. Why is this happening?
Annette?
Why are you out here? I mean, why are you here?
I'm just thinking to myself.
Me too. We were friends, right?
Yeah. But you betrayed Georgia.
Bran! She is a thief and a criminal. It's kind of sad. I mean, I used to look up to her. She was the star of the show. Until I changed the game.
Gee, Molly, that's kind of cruel.
Well, it is what it is. Come on, let's go make people love us. Come on.
Wait, weren't we friends with Annette?
Until she betrayed all of us. Come on.
Aw, sweet precious. You're just so broken.
What?
Do you remember that day where I asked you to introduce Molly to Lou?
Yes.
But you never did you? But that's okay, because your little sweetheart, Bran, he introduced them. He introduced Lou and Molly got her big break. That's how she became the sweetheart. And you became the afterthought. Nobody cared about sweet little Annette anymore because now Molly was the star. But you couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it. You just kept pushing back and pushing back, wanting your spot. So I made you got yourself in some hot water. You know, honestly, I never liked you. I never liked you. You were such an entitled little brat. You thought you were so special, and I was just this lowly little secretary. I gave my life for this show, this studio. And you got to be the star? No. You ruined your career. And nobody will be able to prove otherwise.
Wait, what?
No, Brooks. How many times am I gonna have to tell you this? There's Blanche, Rose, Dorothy, and Sophia is Dorothy's mother.
Dude, I thought they were sisters.
What am I gonna do with you, man? Oh, come on. Go get the van, pull it around.
Lou.
What? Huh? Annette! What are you doing around here?
Are you mad at me too?
Yeah, kinda, I think. I don't know. Not really sure. I mean, wow. In case you hadn't figured out, there's a lot of people that are mad at you around here. I don't know why.
I made a choice, you have to believe me, but everything is different now.
Well, it sounds like you made more than one bad choice. It sounds like you made a lot of choices, because you're not Miss Popular right now. What I would suggest is that you go home and work this out with your family, okay?
That's the problem. I don't have a family. I don't have anyone.
Okay, well then, hey, I know you go to church. Maybe you should go talk this over with your youth minister. From what I hear, he's quite a knowledgeable fella. He's also ravishingly handsome and well-loved by almost everyone.
Then you haven't heard his jokes yet. They're lame.
Well, I suggest we change the subject before you say something you might regret. What I'm trying to say here is, let's see, hold on. I'm about to say something really smart, intelligent, and wise, so I'm gonna go right over here to this rock. Okay, Annette! Here, would you mind holding that for a second? Okay. Annette, my point is, you need wise voices in your life. Because if you don't have wise voices pouring wisdom into your heart, then you're gonna listen to anybody. And you can't just take advice from any yahoo who pops out of nowhere to try to tell you things. If you got it, say got it.
Got it.
All right, good. Have a good day.
Annette!
Yes?
What brings you outside on this lovely day?
Everyone hates me here.
Oh, don't believe that, Annette. No one really well, maybe they do. Sorry. So, Annette, about the door. Have a seat.
Wait, you know? Tell me about the editing room. Did you go in?
Well, let me tell you a little story. Long, long ago, far, far away, a younger version of me, quite the looker, many people say, was walking down the hall and I met a young lady. This is gonna get long. She rejected me, to sum it up. And I regretted embarrassing myself. So, I was walking down the halls of TV 31 and I said I'd like to change something. I was despondent, full of despair. And I decided, that moment, that I wanted to change. And then this door appears out of nowhere.
That's what happened to me.
Yes, you too. And it's this editing room. And the door opened, and the Elvis Presley played. And I looked, and I liked the King. It was very good music. And it came, the door opened, and there was this dude there. I am editor. He talked very much like me, like he must have Eastern European roots as well. And so he said, I am the editor, and you have... Anyways, cut through all that. I didn't make a choice. I looked at the tapes, didn't pick one because I was scared. Did not want to walk in. And ever since that day, I've been looking for someone else with the same story.
You have?
Yes, because I regretted not being brave enough to change. And so I've been looking for that door. And that's why I am who I am. I'm the Baron von Skaren because I got interested in creepy things and supernatural things, and I've been looking for that stuff. And it changed my life by not choosing. Wow, self-revelation just happened. I just thought of that. Oh,
Where's that girl?
what girl? Don't know who you're looking for. There's...
What are you doing here, you walking, talking freak show?
I don't know, waiting for a bus. Uber? Good to see you.
Yeah, yes. Good to see you too.
Guy is so creepy. He's so weird. Listen. There you are. Hey. I believe you. I know I look a little strange, but you can trust me. I believe you. And our plan is, you and we're going to find that door and change everything for both of us.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Annette, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, look. I've been doing some thinking, and... Alright, I believe you. And we're gonna fix this. Together.
The three of us!
Yeah, the three of us.
Thank you.
Proverbs 13. A wise son heeds his father's instruction, but a mocker does not listen to rebuke. From the fruit of his lips a man enjoys good things, but the unfaithful have a craving for violence. He who guards his lips guards his life, but he who speaks rashly will come to ruin. The sluggard craves and gets nothing, but the desires of the diligent are fully satisfied. The righteous hate what is false, but the wicked bring shame and disgrace. Righteousness guards the man of integrity, but wickedness overthrows the sinner. One man pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. A man's riches may ransom his life, but a poor man hears no threat. The light of the righteous shines brightly, but the lamp of the wicked is snuffed out. Pride only breeds quarrels, but wisdom is found in those who take advice. Dishonest money dwindles away, but he who gathers money little by little makes it grow. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. He who scorns instruction will pay for it, but he who respects a command is rewarded. The teaching of the wise is a fountain of life, turning a man from the snares of death. Good understanding wins favor, but the way of the unfaithful is hard. Every prudent man acts out of knowledge, but a fool exposes his folly. A wicked messenger falls into trouble, but a trustworthy envoy brings healing. He who ignores discipline comes to poverty and shame, but whoever heeds correction is honored. A longing fulfilled is sweet to the soul, but fools detest turning from evil. He who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. Misfortune pursues the sinner, but prosperity is the reward of the righteous. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. A poor man's field may produce abundant food, but injustice sweeps it away. He who spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is careful to discipline him. The righteous eat to the heart's content, but the stomach of the wicked goes hungry.
The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears hers down. He whose walk is upright fears the Lord, but he whose ways are devious despises him. A fool's talk brings a rod to his back, but the lips of the wise protect them. Where there are no oxen, the manger is empty, but from the strength of an ox comes an abundant harvest. A truthful witness does not deceive, but a false witness pours out lies. The mocker seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge comes easily to the discerning. Stay away from a foolish man, for you will not find knowledge on his lips. The wisdom of the prudent is to give thought to their ways, but the folly of fools is deception. Fools mock at making amends for sin, but goodwill is found among the upright. Each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can share its joy. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will flourish. There is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death. Even in laughter the heart may ache, and joy may end in grief. The faithless will be fully repaid for their ways, and the good man rewarded for his. A simple man believes anything, but a prudent man gives thought to his steps. A wise man fears the Lord and shuns evil, but a fool is hot-headed and reckless. A quick-tempered man does foolish things, and a crafty man is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Evil men will bow down in the presence of the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor are shunned even by their neighbors, but the rich have many friends. He who despises his neighbor sins, but blessed is he who is kind to the needy. Do not those who plot evil go astray, but those who plan what is good find love and faithfulness. All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. The wealth of the wise is their crown, but the folly of fools yields folly. A truthful witness saves lives, but a false witness is deceitful. He who fears the Lord has a secure fortress, and for his children it will be a refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, turning a man from the snares of death. A large population is a king's glory, but without subjects, a prince is ruined. A patient man has great understanding, but a quick-tempered man displays folly. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. He who oppresses the poor shows contempt for their maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God. When calamity comes, the wicked are brought down, but even in death the righteous have a refuge. Wisdom reposes in the heart of the discerning, and even among fools she lets herself be known. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a disgrace to any people. A king delights in a wise servant, but a shameful servant incurs his wrath.
A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise commends knowledge, but the mouth of the fool gushes folly. The eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on the wicked and the good. The tongue that brings healing is a tree of life, but a deceitful tongue crushes spirit. A fool spurns his father's discipline, but whoever heeds correction shows prudence. The house of the righteous contains great treasure, but the income of the wicked brings them trouble. The lips of the wise spread knowledge, not so the heart of fools. The Lord detests the sacrifice of the wicked, but the prayer of the upright pleases him. The Lord detests the way of the wicked, but he loves those who pursue righteousness. Stern discipline awaits him who leaves the path. He who hates correction will die. Death and destruction lie open before the Lord. How much more the hearts of men? A mocker resents correction, and he will not consult the wise. A happy heart makes the face cheerful, but a heartache crushes the spirit. The discerning heart seeks knowledge, but the mouth of a fool feeds on folly. All the days of the oppressed are wretched, but a cheerful heart has a continual feast. Better a little with the fear of the Lord than wealth of with turmoil. Better a meal of vegetables where there is love than a fattened calf with hatred. A hot-tempered man stirs up dissension, but a patient man calms a quarrel. The way of the sluggard is blocked with thorns, but the way of the upright is a highway. A wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish man despises his mother. Folly delights a man who lacks judgment, but a man of understanding keeps a straight course. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisers they succeed. A man finds joy in giving an apt reply, and how good is a timely word. The path of life leads upward for the wise, to keep him from going down the grave. The Lord tears down the proud man's house, but he keeps the widow's boundaries intact. The Lord detests the thought of the wicked, but those of the pure are pleasing to him. A greedy man brings trouble to his family, but he who hates bribes will live. The heart of the righteous weighs its answers, but the mouth of the wicked gushes evil. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. A cheerful look brings joy to the heart, and good news gives health to the bones. He who listens to a life-giving rebuke will be at home among the wise. He who ignores discipline despises himself, but whoever heeds correction gains understanding. The fear of the Lord teaches a man wisdom, and humility comes before honor.
To man belong the plans of the heart, but from the Lord comes the reply of the tongue. All a man's ways seem innocent to him, but motives are weighed by the Lord. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. The Lord works out everything for his own ends, even the wicked for a day of disaster. The Lord detests all the proud of heart. Be sure of this, they will not go unpunished. Through love and faithfulness, sin is atoned for. Through the fear of the Lord, a man avoids evil. When a man's ways are pleasing to the Lord, he makes even his enemies live at peace with him. Better a little with righteousness than much gain with injustice. In his heart a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. The lips of the king speaks as an oracle, and his mouth should not betray justice. Honest scales and balances are from the Lord. All the weights in the bag are of his making. Kings detest wrongdoing, for a throne is established through righteousness. Kings take pleasure in honest lips. They value a man who speaks the truth. A king's wrath is a messenger of death, but a wise man will appease it. When a king's face brightens, it means life. His favor is like a rain cloud in spring. How much better to get wisdom than gold, to choose understanding rather than silver. The highway of the upright avoids evil. He who guards his way guards his life. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Better to be lowly in spirit and among the oppressed than to share plunder with the proud. Whoever gives heed to instruction prospers, and blessed is he who trusts in the Lord. The wise in heart are called discerning, and pleasant words promote instruction. Understanding is a fountain of life to those who have it, but folly brings punishment to fools. A wise man's heart guides his mouth, and his lips promote instruction. Pleasant words are honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. There is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death. The laborer's appetite works for him, his hunger drives him on. A scoundrel plots evil, and his speech is like a scorching fire. A perverse man stirs up dissension, and gossip separates close friends. A violent man entices his neighbor and leads him down a path that is not good. He who winks with his eye is plotting perversity. He who purses his lips is bent on evil. Gray hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained by a righteous life. Better a patient man than a warrior, a man who controls his temper, than one who takes a city. The law is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord.
Better a dry crust with peace and quiet than a house full of feasting with strife. A wise servant will rule over a disgraceful son, and will share the inheritance as one of the brothers. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the heart. A wicked man listens to evil lips, a liar pays attention to malicious tongue. He who mocks the poor shows contempt for their maker. Whoever gloats over disaster will not go unpunished. Children's children are a crown to the aged, and parents are the pride of their children. Arrogant lips are unsuited to a fool. How much worse lying lips to a ruler? A bribe is a charm to the one who gives it. Wherever he turns, he succeeds. He who covers over an offense promotes love, but whoever repeats the matter separates close friends. A rebuke impresses a man of discernment, more than 100 lashes a fool. An evil man is bent only by rebellion. A merciless official will be sent against him. Better to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than a fool on his folly. If a man pays back evil for good, evil will never leave his house. Starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam, so drop the matter before a dispute breaks out. Acquitting the guilty and condemning the innocent, the Lord detests them both. Of what use is money in the hand of a fool, since he has no desire to get wisdom? A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. A man lacking in judgment strikes hand and pledge, and puts up security for his neighbor. He who loves a quarrel loves sin. He who builds a high gate invites destruction. A man of perverse heart does not prosper. He whose tongue is deceitful falls into trouble. To have a fool for a son brings grief. There is no joy for the father of a fool. A cheerful heart is a good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. A wicked man accepts a bribe in secret to pervert the course of justice. A discerning man keeps wisdom in view, but a fool's eyes wander to the ends of the earth. A foolish son brings grief to his father, and bitterness to the one who bore him. It is not good to punish an innocent man or to flog officials for their integrity. A man of knowledge uses words with restraint, and a man of understanding is even-tempered. Even a fool is thought wise if he keeps silent, and discerning if he holds his tongue.
An unfriendly man pursues selfish ends. He defies all sound judgment. A fool finds no pleasure in understanding, but delights in airing his own opinions. When wickedness comes, so does contempt, and with shame comes disgrace. The words of a man's mouth are deep waters, but the fountain of wisdom is a bubbling brook. It is not good to be partial to the wicked, or to deprive the innocent of justice. A fool's lips bring him strife, and his mouth invites beating. A fool's mouth is his undoing, and his lips are a snare to his soul. The words of a gossip are like choice morsels. They go down to a man's inmost parts. One who slacks in his work is a brother to one who destroys. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. The wealth of the rich is a fortified city. Their imagine it an unscalable wall. Before his downfall, a man's heart is proud, but humility comes before honor. He who answers before listening, that is a foolish man in his shame. A man's spirit sustains him in sickness, but a crushed spirit who can bear? The heart of the discerning acquires knowledge. The ears of the wise seek it out. A gift opens the way for the griever and ushers him into the presence of the great. The first to present his case seems right, till another comes forward and questions him. Casting a lot settles disputes and keeps strong opponents apart. An offended brother is more unyielding than a fortified city, and disputes are like a barred gates of a citadel. From the fruit of his mouth, a man's stomach is full. With the harvest from his lips, he is satisfied. The tongue has the power of life and death. For those who love it will eat its fruit. He who finds a wife finds what is good, and receives favor from the Lord. A poor man pleads for mercy, but the rich man answers harshly. A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother.
What's up, Impact Campers? Jordan House here. It's Tuesday night of worship. Raise your hand if you're having an amazing week seeking the Lord. I want to read us a few verses as we head into worship tonight. This is from Psalm, "Be my rock and refuge, to which I can always go. Give the command to save me, Lord. Also, truly he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken." Tonight, as we sing to our God, let's think about the power he has to transform us tonight, this week, to make things new, to redeem us. We're going to sing songs like Great in Power, Holy Spirit, Good Father. And let's just lift everything we have to him and just say, God, have your way with us. We are yours tonight. Let's engage in worship together.
Praise him, sing great in power, great in power, great in glory, great in mercy, King of heaven, great in battle, great in wonder, great in Zion, King tasted and seen all the sweetest of loves, where my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. Your presence, Lord. Sing, Holy Spirit. Oh, Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. There's nothing worth more that would ever come close. Come on, you guys sing. Your presence, Lord. We have seen his glory, and I've tasted and seen. Oh, Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Oh, Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come and fill this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your good. Come on, sing that. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness, Lord. Oh, Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Oh, and I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I heard a tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say a word. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. am. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Love so undeniable, I can hardly speak. Peace so unexplainable, I can hardly think as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still into love, love, love. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. Pray with me. Father, it is amazing to just stand and be still in your presence. To realize that all the running and moving and busyness that we do, that you remain on the throne and your purposes are at work. Tonight, we just want to see you more clearly. We want to ready our hearts for all that you would want to say to us tonight and this week. That you might speak directly to us, God, that you may speak through people that we came here with, or through a speaker tonight, or through the songs we sing. We want to hear your voice. We want to see you more clearly. Thank you for being the Father that you are, that we could be your children. We pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen. All right. Who breaks the power of sin and darkness, whose love is mighty and so much stronger, the King of glory, the King above all kings, who shakes the whole earth with holy thunder and leaves us breathless in awe and wonder, the King of glory, the King above all kings. We'll sing it. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love. That you would take my place. That you would bear my cross. You would lay down your life. That I would be set free. Whoa, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Who brings our chaos back into order, who makes the orphan a son and daughter, the King of glory, the King above all kings, who rules the nations with truth and justice, shines like the sun in all of its brilliance, the King of glory, the King above all kings. Yeah, this is amazing grace. This is unfailing love. That you would take my place. That you would bear my cross. Oh, you would lay down your life. That I would be set free. Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me.
All right, good evening, Impact. My name is Patrick Chappelle, and I'm so excited to be with you tonight to deliver a message. I was just telling the folks that were in this room that this particular night and moment are special for me because we're in Alumni Auditorium. And this is where Impact started for me, on this room and on this stage. Many years ago, I came as a counselor, and in one of those moments, one of those years as a counselor, I was asked to come on stage to tell a joke, and the rest is kind of history. And so I'm excited to be with you and to share a message that I think and hope will resonate with each of you watching. And I also know that there are not only youth groups watching this around the Southeast and the country, but there's also alumni of Impact. There are randoms on this YouTube website right now. Hello to all of you, and I'm glad that you're watching. I've entitled this particular message, I spent a lot of time on this, Running in Circles Isn't as Bad as You Think It Is, especially if in these trying times, and trust me, these are trying times, unprecedented, fluid, wild times. I could have maybe shortened it a little bit, but that's the title that I decided to go with, and I think that you will see where we're going with the title by the end of it. And so most of you also know, like I said, I'm Patrick Chappelle, and from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I've been living in Nashville for a long time. I'm currently the college young adult minister at Otter Creek Church in Brentwood, which is an amazing honor to do. And outside of that, I officiate many weddings. I DJ weddings. I love karaoke. Big Weezer fan. So much more that I could share about my own life. But I want to get us to where we're going. One thing I did want to share with all of you is kind of the mission and at least direction of even our college ministry as it stands now, because I think it's so relevant to what is happening, and I think some of you will even resonate with this. And here's kind of where we've landed recently. We said we must create a better world instead of just creating images of a better world. The subversive and radical message of Jesus' love included giving a voice to the voiceless, a place for those who are displaced, painting pictures of love may look challenging, and we want to challenge the systems and stand against systemic oppression and becoming a thorn to those systems. And until we offer our bodies to the flames and die to ourselves, this kind of love will not be authentic. So that's what we're up to here in Brentwood and in Nashville. Now, tonight I have three kind of movements I want to take us through. And I believe that these three particular movements are connected and have something to speak to us in a way that will hopefully awaken something new within us. But I want to give you the encouragement that whenever I land on a particular moment, and if you're like, man, that was it. That's all I needed to hear tonight. That message really hit me, and I am shook. Look, just park right there. You do not have to keep tracking with me. If that's what the Spirit had for you, then just be in it. Let it stick to you like Velcro. You can watch the rest later. But I want you to be open to being stopped in midpoint. It could be a verse, it could be a comment, it could be a part of the quote or whatever. Feel free to just stay in that and be present in that particular moment. Because there's anything I'm learning in this particular year, is that presence and being present and fully present matters. So, be present to what the Spirit might be telling you in these moments that we're going to share together. I love that we're going through Proverbs this year at Impact. Because here's what I know to be true. I know that we are in information overload right now. We've been this way for quite some time, right? You are not in lack of information. You have lots of information at your fingertips, right? What we need is wisdom. We need wisdom to know what to do with this information that we're receiving. So it's so amazing that we have landed here on this year with the Proverbs. And I love, too, that something like the Proverbs, the speakers that you're seeing, the few you've seen now and the rest of you're going to see this week, we're kind of bumping up against each other. Kind of talking about the same things, but in very different ways. Because that's what reading the Bible is like. It's like looking at a gem and holding that gem to the light and seeing different things and different images from just twisting and turning the gem. Because the light reflects it and sees something beautiful. So the proverb that I want to share tonight is this one. Proverbs 27:19. Just as water reflects a person's true face, so the human heart reflects a person's true character. Again, some of you are like, okay, that's all I needed. Thanks, Patrick. Good talk. I'm going to go ahead and take a nap on that one. We'll holler at you next year. That's okay. Now, obviously, I see this proverb. I'm like, okay, I know exactly what this makes me think about. It makes me think about this particular clip.
Look down there.
That's not my father. It's just my reflection.
No. Look. You see, he lives in you.
Father?
Simba, you have forgotten me.
No. How could I?
You have forgotten who you are, and so forgotten me. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in the circle of life.
How can I go back? I'm not who I used to be.
Remember who you are. You are my son, and the one true king. Remember who you are.
No! Please! Don't leave me!
Remember.
Father!
Remember.
Don't leave me.
Now, some of you are undone right now because you love that movie, you remember that moment, and it touches you in a way now that maybe it hasn't touched you in a way in a long time. Because see, when we see that proverb, You say, okay, look, we understand that part. I look in a mirror, I look in the water, I see my face, I see the things that are just naturally there. But when I look at the heart and the overflow of that heart shows what a man's character, shows what a woman's character truly is. And here's what I would say for many of us, and I think this is true, is that the heart of God, the character of God, is within you right now. But for some of you, you're not awakened to the fact that that heart and that character exists within you. Some of you need to wake up to this. Some of you need to wake up to the fact that that is what lives and resides in your entire body, is this heart of God. But you've let life and events and tragedies and stuff put you asleep to this very fact. You have the heart. But what we know now is that our heart has become in a certain way because we've been distracted, we've been involved in things. We are now feeling the pressures of culture and society. The events of the day are happening, and now my heart is in a different place. Therefore, my character is in a different place. So wake up and pay attention to what's happening in your heart, because it will for sure reflect in your character. The literal translation of this verse says, like water face to face, so is the heart of man to man. So man's heart reveals the man. The feelings and thoughts that come from our heart reveal to us the reflection in the smooth water that we see in our face. Who we are will eventually be evident to others as our words and actions reveal our true heart. Now, for me, when I'm hearing a verse that's in some ways kind of cryptic and it's maybe a little struggle for me to even make sense of what it's truly trying to say to me in this particular day, I turn to books. I love to read. I love finding amazing, interesting quotes that really help me wake up to what is actually happening when I'm reading something in the Bible. So, I want to share this particular quote with you from C.S. Lewis. It goes like this. My own experience is something like this. I'm progressing along the path of life in my ordinary, continental, fallen, and godless condition, absorbed in my merry meetings with friends for the morrow, or a bit of work that tickles my vanity, when suddenly a stab of abdominal pain that threatens serious illness. I call that COVID-19. Or a headline. What you say, CS? In the newspaper that threatens us all with destruction, sends this whole pack of cards tumbling down. That's race, racism, prejudice, bias. Have you seen the news? Of course you have. At first, I'm overwhelmed. And all my little happiness look like broken toys. Then slowly and reluctantly, bit by bit, I try to bring myself into frame of mind that I should have been in the whole time. Right? Is that not what's been happening in this year, 2020? You know, I meant to say this a little earlier, but my 2020 has been quite a ride. I've had to bury a beloved friend and member of our church. I myself got food poisoning in January on my birthday. Hello. That wasn't fun. Then we have a tornado that comes and almost takes me out. Then COVID-19 happens. Then I lose my beloved aunt. And I have to do her graveside service. Then there's protests and conversations about race and racism. I've had a year so far. And I'm sure the same is for a lot of you. But in the midst of all of that, what it does, all of this is causing us disruption and causing us to say, you know what? I should have been in this mind of being connected to God, to be connected to the wisdom that's shown to me in the Bible the whole time. And perhaps as we go on, by God's grace, I succeed and for a day or two become a creature consistently dependent on God and drawing its strength from the right sources. But the moment the threat is withdrawn, the slightest moment, we're seeing this for sure with the coronavirus, or as I like to call her, Rona. The threat is withdrawn. We all out here just living life now. We wild. What we know too is that this conversation about racism and about injustices that are happening in our society, guess what? A few weeks are going to pass, a few months are going to pass, and guess what? That threat is withdrawn. You, friend, watching, you got caught. You got caught up in something, right? You got busted. You're like, man, you hate to see it. And then there's a lot of pain and a lot of suffering and a lot of hurt that comes with that. But guess what happens? It gets withdrawn. And my whole nature leaps back to the toys. God has had me but 48 hours, and then only by the dint of taking everything else away from me. Let him but slither that sword for a moment. And I behave like a puppy when the heated bath is over. I shake myself as dry as I can, race off to acquire my comfortable dirtiness, if not for the nearest manure heap, at least for the nearest flower bed. Again, that may do it for you, because it still gets me every time I read it. And it's true. The threat, the disease, the suffering, the pain, the disappointment, the whatever it is, it gets withdrawn. For 48 hours, my heart was displaying the kind of character that I wanted it to be displaying the whole time. I was caught up in the stuff that I really wanted to be caught up in all alone, but I got wrapped up in the follies of the day. I got wrapped up in my work, in my school, in my projects, in my sports, whatever it is. And then I go back, like the puppy. When I'm clean, I'm like, there is the dirtiness, and I want to go right back to it. Let's keep going. So, I shared this quote with you I've talked briefly about this, this quote with you. And I want to say a couple things more about this quote before we move on to my final point. And the one thing I want us to notice is that how quick we are to want to rush back to the normal life. Let's not. We have to be intentional. Our human nature is to go back to our bad habits. Let's break that cycle. And here's what we know too. For those of you that are hurting, for those of you that have gone through suffering, for those of you that have gone through something that has disrupted your entire life, and it has been a painful experience and has been an awful experience. What I know is true is this: if I do not transform my pain and my suffering and my hurt, if I don't use it and transform it for kingdom purposes, I'm just going to transmit pain and suffering and hurt to others. Let's not forget, Jesus people, that we lead with love and grace and mercy and peace and forgiveness. Those aren't easy things to lead with. That's what we're called to lead with. Let's be transformers of the pain and suffering that's happening in our day and not transmit pain and suffering onto others. And that's what surely will happen. What's also true is at this very end, where we go back into our dirtiness, it often reminds me of Luke 11, where we hear the demons coming back into the clean house and bringing even more carnage into the house with them. Because just cleaning out the house and just cleaning out the life and just kind of aligning the heart for a little bit is not enough. We can't just do the things of getting rid of everything and just stand still. We must keep moving. We must keep active. We must go forward. Let us not forget that we're part of a movement that has a person by the name of Jesus, the Christ, who is making things new. He's about that new. So stay connected to that. And let me make sure that I don't, before I go to this last bit, I want you to understand that, like, yes, we, as a part of the process of healing and seeking forgiveness and reconciliation, is that we have to admit that we have done the wrong thing. We, people of our tribe, are not great at apologies and not great at asking for forgiveness and not great at saying, look, that was me and I own that. We must be men and women who are okay with saying, I was wrong. Now let's work towards reconciliation. Let's work towards bringing things back together in a new way. So you say, okay, Patrick, this is great. I love that quote. Good job. I loved it, man. I love the highlights. That was wonderful. Cool. Cool story, my friend. Well, what now? How are we gonna, what's this last bit that you're gonna throw at us before you get up out of here? The question I've been asked the most during this time of all of the deaths that has been happening and all the conversations about race and racism, and even about, like, how do we make sense of what happens after we move from this trapped in, quarantining, COVID-19. It's like, what do we do now? It makes me think about the passage in the Proverbs. How do we really create this heart? And I want to have a true heart that's connected to God, that's awakened to this reality. So here's what I tell people now, and here's what I'm going to tell you. First, we have to start with prayer. Prayer is at the center of what we're wanting to do. We must be people grounded in prayer. That's where we start. If you need a little help from Jesus, think about Jesus in the garden, Jesus on the mountaintop, Jesus teaching his disciples how to pray. Prayer is at the center of what we do. We must be prayerful in anything that we're attempting to do and attempting to be and attempting to move towards. Prayer. Then we move to contemplation. We must be thoughtful about the things that we're going to do. Discernment is another word that is used often, but contemplation. I need to sit with this. I need to make the plans. I need to get to the whiteboard. I need to pull out the paper. I need to get to the community people. I need to collect my people and say, okay, help me think about what it is we need to do next. Let's contemplate this thing. Let's think about this. Let's be thoughtful. Jesus in Lazarus' situation. He did not run immediately to go in action. He paused. He had to contemplate. And there's other examples in Scripture where you look at Jesus taking a beat a little bit, saying, I'm going to be contemplative and be thoughtful about how we respond and act in this particular moment with these particular people. That's what we got to be like. But then after contemplation, we move to action. Without action, it's dead, people. We got to be people of action. We got to act. We got to move into it. We got to actually show up. We got to do the things that we've thought about doing, that we prayed about doing. We got to do them. But then after prayer, after action, we go back into prayer and we keep this circle dance going. We say, Lord, I've acted, I've thought about it, and I've acted. Make sure that what is of you last, what was me and my ego, let it go away. But I want to be prayerful about the actions that I just did. But now I want to go back into contemplation and think, what is next now? And then get back into action. And go back into prayer and contemplation and action. Now here's a temptation, right? The temptation is this, is that we can get stuck in one of these. There are plenty of us out there who will get stuck in prayer. Say, let's just pray, man. Let's just pray. Patrick, we need to just pray. Bro, just pray about it. It's going to pray. Let's just pray on it. It's going to be, let's just pray. I heard this wonderful quote this morning. It says, prayer is marvelous and necessary supplement of our feeble efforts, but it's a dangerous substitute. That came from Dr. Martin Luther King. We cannot just stop at prayer. We have to move to contemplation. We have to move to action. Prayer is, yes, the grounding point, the starting point, but we have to keep going. For some of us, we get stuck in contemplation. We think about it, we plan it, we talk about it, we talk some more about it, we plan it, we talk about it, we do some more talking, and we never do anything. And then, of course, some of us get stuck in action. How many of us know people who just go and act? They just do. They just do the things. Let's be men and women who find ourselves wrapped up into this circle, wrapped up into these different elements. The last thing I'll share with you is this quote from Reverend Williams, who said that love and justice are not two. Without inner change, there can be no outer change. Without collective change, no change matters. Impact, I want you to wake up to this reality that the presence of God, the heart of God, the character of God is dwelling within you right now, but you need to wake up to it. And don't run back to the dirtiness, but stay on the course. You now know what you know now. Continue moving forward. Continue changing, continue growing, continue seeking wisdom. Not only from the Bible, but from the men and women in your church, in your youth groups, in your communities, because we're in this thing together. Grace and peace to you all. Good night.
Okay, Another keynote in the books. I don't exactly look like the MC right now, but that's what happens during Online Impact. You got to do what you can when you can do it. So some of you probably have never seen Patrick Chappell in this mode. Those of us that have known Patrick for a long time know that there's a lot to this man. It's been an honor to be a friend of Patrick's for a decade and a half now. And Patrick, I'm thankful for you sharing your heart tonight. What I'm going to do is ask everybody here, same drill, same thing as last night. Just turn to the person beside you and share what was the thing that Patrick said. I'll give you about a minute and a half. The thing that Patrick said to you tonight, that God said through Patrick that you really needed to hear. In fact, I loved how Patrick said, if you hear the thing and you know that's the thing and you end up not being able to focus on anything else later, that's great. He said, you know what, you can come back and watch the rest of it some other time, which I love that about Online Impact this year. You all know all of this stuff is just sitting there on YouTube and it's going to stay there. This will still be there. So maybe you heard that one thing and couldn't think about anything else because of the way it lodged in your heart. What was that thing? Share it with your friend now. Turn to the person beside you or write it in your journal, and then I'll come back in a moment. Give you a couple more seconds. Okay, well, I am looking at a lens. There's nobody in this room. It's an empty room right now. We're recording the skit just above my head. But I'm sitting here, and during this time, what I get to do, in addition to kind of looking at the notes that I made as I listened to Patrick's sermon, is I get to think about who's on the other side of the lens. And, you know, Mr. Rogers, they used to say that Mr. Rogers would imagine a child. He did a children's show, obviously, so he would imagine a child. He would try to connect with one child, not millions or hundreds of thousands of children, which is what he communicated, or how many he communicated with every day, just one. And he treated the lens like it was that one child, and it's so hard to do. For those of us that are youth ministers and we are used to the in-person interaction, looking at eyeballs and giving high fives and hugs and reading a room with people and space, trying to connect through a lens is not easy. But I've been sitting here trying to imagine who you are on the other side of this lens. You know, thinking about current students that I know and love all over the country. Today I was wearing my Reckless shirt. I'm not sure if there are any Texas teens, but I was at a youth rally in February, right before the pandemic hit. A bunch of students from the Houston area and beyond, I guess. And, you know, some of you may be tuned into Impact this week. Or Lindsay James, you know, you're out there, I'm pretty sure, this week enjoying, from Canada, most likely, enjoying Impact. And just imagining what was the thing that Patrick said that you needed to hear. You know, Mike Shepard in Australia, who I referenced before, and his sons and wife. What did Patrick say that you needed to turn to the person beside you to share? I don't know. I know that there were three things that stood out to me. You have lots of information. What you need is wisdom to know what to do with that information. That was incredible. And then the C.S. Lewis quote, the idea about when it's all over, you go back to the follies of the day. Oh, God, help us from doing that. Don't let us go back to the dirt, whether it will be the flower bed or the manure pile. Deal with us, Lord. And then the final thing that you might have said, this was stuck with me, and frankly, Patrick, this was where I got stuck, was our tribe is not very good at saying I'm sorry. And, you know, Impact this week, we started our week with an I'm sorry. to our black and brown brothers and sisters in the Impact community, that because of our silence on issues that relate to race and racial unity and tension in our land. And we're not going to be silent anymore. And obviously, if you've been following and watching the Be the Bridge videos that are airing each day, I think at noon, then you know that. We're not going to do that anymore. But we owed you, and I'm sorry. And our tribe is not good at that. And I don't want to be that way. I want to be able to say I'm sorry. So I got stuck there. Here are the discussion questions tonight. Patrick gave us these, and these are for your group. What have I been doing that almost led to my undoing? What is something I've been doing that almost led to my own undoing? That's your first question. Second question is, what should I be doing that I should have been doing all along? What should I be doing now that I should have been doing all along? What will help me remember? I like that. Some of you shared the Lion King clip, which is amazing. What will help me remember that God is inside you? And how can we be better from it? How can we be better from it? Those are your 4 questions. Our prayer is that tonight's keynote has been a huge blessing, that you already can tell that you're a different person right now than you were Sunday as God has been doing his work. That's our hope. That's the only reason this camp exists. It's so much fun. And the family feel is so special. And it's been a treasure for 29 years, but it's always only been about the impact that God's word can have on the hearts and lives of young people and people of all ages. That's what we want for you. So hopefully in these discussions, these questions can help you get somewhere tonight. We love you. And of course, we'll see you again tomorrow. But our prayer is that as you process this together, that God continues to do his work. All right, y'all, enjoy your discussion time. We love you.